Okay, so today we're talking about a pretty incredible transformation. On one hand, you have the messy, chaotic reality of a construction site's waste bin, and on the other, you've got this clean, uniform, data-rich stream of super high-value biomass. We're going to break down how one company is building a digital bridge over that huge gap, creating what they call a sentient refinery. It's all about turning a traditional waste hauling business into a high-tech biomass manufacturer. All right, let's dive right in.
So this is the big question, right? How do you take something everyone sees as just garbage, a messy pile of scrap wood, and refine it into a precisely engineered resource for the new bioeconomy? Well, the answer isn't just about getting bigger trucks or more bins. It's about a fundamental shift in how you see and understand waste right at the source, before it even moves.
First up, the coming storm. We really have to get a handle on the immense pressure that's building on this industry. Thanks to a huge push for a circular economy, the old model of just dump and run is facing a perfect storm of new rules and new costs that are going to make it basically impossible to operate that way in just a few years.
Now, what's so interesting here is how all these pressures are converging into what you could call a regulatory cliff. It's not just one thing. Starting in 2026, a new levy hits industrial waste, which will make landfilling more expensive every single year. Then you've got a proposed ban on landfilling clean wood that could hit by 2029. And happening right now, today, is mandatory digital reporting for any hazardous material. The rules of the game have totally changed.
And this quote just nails the new reality. It's not cheaper or easier to ignore the rules anymore. Actually, it's the opposite. Your ability to navigate all this complex compliance stuff is the new competitive advantage. The market itself is being reshaped, and you either adapt or you get left behind. Simple as that.
So here's the core technical problem, the quality gap. On the left, you've got your typical construction waste. It's wet, it's all mixed up with plastic, and who knows, it might even have chemically treated wood in it. But on the right, you have what the bioeconomy actually needs. A feedstock that is incredibly dry, almost perfectly pure, and milled to a super precise size. You just can't get from the left to the right with a simple dumpster.
And for years, this was the big barrier. This number, 6 times, explains why things haven't changed faster. When it's up to 6 times cheaper to just bury something in the landfill, the economic reason to innovate just isn't there. That regulatory cliff we just talked about, it's specifically designed to close this gap and totally flip the economics, creating a brand new incentive to innovate.
Which brings us to the solution, the digital refinery. If the problem is all about quality and compliance, the answer isn't just a physical refinery, it's got to be a digital one. A system that uses artificial intelligence as like the central nervous system of the whole operation, solving that quality problem right at the source. So let's really define what this means. We're talking about a system that uses AI and data to do the refining work virtually. It identifies, it categorizes, and it verifies the waste, creating this crystal clear chain of custody and making sure that only the good stuff enters the biofeedstock supply chain.
Okay, let's walk through how this AI gatekeeper actually works, because it's pretty cool. First, the client just snaps a photo of their bin and uploads it. Easy. Then the AI gets to work. It's scanning the image for visual clues like the very specific green tint of copper-treated wood that tells it, hey, that's a contaminant. It then goes even further, pulling out metadata to estimate the volume and predict the weight. And finally, based on that split-second analysis, the system makes a decision. Send the clean wood to a clean hub for processing or flag the contaminated bin for special handling.
Now, having a smart AI brain is one thing, but you need the physical network, the brawn, to actually execute its decisions efficiently. So let's look at how this AI brain directs the physical network to build a completely new kind of logistics model. This is the mothership model, where smaller, nimbler vehicles are feeding a much larger, way more efficient transport vessel. Think of it like hub and spoke for waste. The spokes are the smaller 40-yard bins picking up wood from individual job sites. The AI directs these bins to a central hub where all the clean wood is gathered and refined. From there, these massive 144-yard walking floor trailers, the motherships, haul almost 19 tons of pure biomass directly to the end users, totally bypassing the old, slow, and inefficient municipal transfer stations.
And check this out, this might be one of the most critical features, the built-in compliance shield. So what happens if the AI spots something really hazardous, like wood with lead paint? The system acts as a kill switch. It instantly slams the brakes on the normal bioeconomy workflow and automatically triggers the official hazardous waste registry. A digital manifest is generated, ensuring a compliant, trackable disposal, and, this is huge, protecting the client and everyone down the line from massive liability. So we've got the brains and we've got the brawn. Now let's talk about the payoff. How does this whole smarter system actually create new forms of value, both financially and for the environment? The smart invoice really makes this value proposition real and tangible. Billing is broken down and super transparent. You've got your base logistics fee, a processing charge, but look at those last two lines. The client sees an explicit, direct saving by avoiding those new landfill taxes. And down the road, they could even see a dividend from a share in carbon removal credits. The system doesn't just cost money, it shows you savings and creates new ways to make money.
And on a macro level, the impact is, well, it's transformative. The data collected by this digital refinery can be pooled together to create a real-time inventory of all the available wood biomass in an urban area. They're essentially creating an urban forest. This data can feed into provincial planning platforms, letting us manage our urban resources with the same level of sophistication we use for traditional forests. It's a game-changing.
So we end with this thought. We've just seen how AI can fundamentally change our perception of wood waste, turning a liability into a high-value, predictable asset. The key takeaway here is that this is a model, a new way of seeing, and it really leaves you wondering what other materials that we currently call waste are simply resources we haven't learned how to see yet.